I'm not going to apologise for being 20 minutes late, but I am late today. I have a very good reason. I was with a group of people and we had some delays, and so we went a bit late, and I thought, well, I get to be the master of my own time. So I'm late, woo! But I'm here. It was awesome. We had so much amazing time together. So we're inside because it's raining very gently. It's sort of misty, moisty outside, which means I can't be outside. So we're going to do rocks. Never a bad thing when we get to do rocks. Here is a piece of quartz, a really interesting piece of quartz. Andrea, way! We had such a good time. So this is quartz, and it looks a bit pink because it's got a dusting of something pink over the outside, quite possibly some kind of iron. But if you look in the bottom, where it's not so obvious, it is actually clear quartz, but it's got something on the outside. And I love this one because it's got all these interesting shapes. It's grown in the presence of something that has left indentations in the outside, and then it's dissolved out. And who knows what it was, but it's lovely. Paula, beautiful, it's lovely to see you. Yeah, we had a blast. Linda, g'day, beautiful. I'm just enjoying sharing this lovely quartz point with you. It just must have, was either broken off by somebody with a hammer, or maybe, hopefully, it broke off naturally. But it's lovely, and it's got this really shiny and transparent, window where you can see through. Most of the facets on the end are actually like this pretty beautiful termination on it, and then the end is a little bit sort of dented and different. But yeah, it's a lovely stone, and yeah, you can really see the redness and the pinkness on the outside if you look at it this way. Linda, you'll recognise this little fellow. Linda sent me, and it's a tumble polished piece of emerald. This is emerald. Well, the camels are not marching here, so, camels be gone. Camels are bumps in the internet, by the way, for anybody who wonders. So, a little piece of tumbled emerald. It's lovely. Kathleen, yay, good morning. It's so cool to do this. So here we are, enjoying this beautiful piece of tumbled emerald in matrix. Who knew that emerald came in a matrix? And in this case, at least, it's pretty much black. So it's a beautiful wee thing. Last but not least, I have this. And this is really, obviously it's quartz. It's from China. A lot of quartz comes from Brazil, but this is Chinese quartz. And it's gorgeous. You just turn it around, and I'm looking at it because I'm hoping I can spot the rainbow that I can never find to show you. Because it has got a rainbow inside it. Oh yeah, there it is. It's actually pretty difficult to catch the light on it. But, really, who needs rainbows when you have a thing that's so beautiful? The rainbow's in there, I think, but I don't know how well it will show. Mainly, I just love the fact that, you can see through this. Nesreen, good morning, honey. You can see through it, and there's all this detail. And I remember, I used to sort of be of the ilk that the more perfect the crystal was, the more transparent it was and everything, the better. But I really like crystals that are all interesting and different now. I just, I like them imperfect. They're perfectly imperfect. There's the bottom. It's just got all these little things, just like you and me, We've got all our little bits and pieces that are uniquely us. And it's fabulous. So, right, today what I want to talk about, I had it all in my head before I started and now it's vanished. What are we talking about? Oh yeah, dealing with criticism and dealing with people who are in your face and they've been criticising you for so long that it's kind of it's so there, and it's very easy to take it on, and it's it's distressing. I'm not talking about the little quiet jibes from a co-worker or whatever. I'm talking about someone that is in your face that you can't get away from, because this is a question that one of you asked me. And that's, I'm pretty sure that's the kind of context. And what do you do? And I thought, well, gee, Maddie, what do you do? Because we can talk about, what I will often say, and we had this discussion yesterday really, that criticism is about people dumping their shit on you, and it's got nothing to do with you. It's their stuff, right? It's their bullshit. And, if I take it on, then I am taking someone else's stuff on and believing it's true about me. And when we're young and that happens, we've got no analytical mind to disagree with it. Until we're about 7, you don't have an analytical mind to say that's wrong. I'm not a bad person, or I'm not stupid, or whatever it is. You're in hypnosis, right? First 2 years you're in delta with your eyes open. You're asleep with your eyes open for the first 2 years. No filters. And then for the next 5 or 6 years, you are in alpha. And alpha brainwaves is when you're relaxed. It's when you're hypnotized. So everything that's around you just goes straight in. Again, you can't disagree. Which is why, the childhood conditioning, we sort of think, it's because of blah, blah, blah when I was a kid. Because it does go in and there's no filters. We can't argue when we're small. As we get older, between sort of age 7 and 12, the analytical mind develops, and the mind goes between alpha and beta brainwaves, and beta is normal adult thinking consciousness, and then you have an ability to say, hey, there's a thing, do I agree with it or do I not? But actually, we get programmed, right? Because those original programs is like putting the software on your new phone. It's the baseline operating system, and then we kind of build things on top of that. And if the operating system says, well, I can't show blue on my screen, well, then you can go through your life not knowing what blue looks like, right? So if you've grown up with criticism, then it's normal, and you think that it's normal to feel this way about yourself, and and then eventually you have an experience that makes you challenge your perception of the world without blue, and then you think, hang on a minute, maybe I can feel differently from that. Maybe there is blue. Maybe there isn't just red and yellow and orange and green. Maybe there's blue as well, and we start to think, in the frontal lobe that says, what would it be like if I lived in a world with blue? Then you start, you start selecting possibilities based on your past experience still, but you start looking at new and different ways of thinking about things and behaving and all of that stuff. So, I wasn't expecting to go down that path, but just to give you an idea of my kind of thinking about criticism and, judgment and all that harsh stuff and how crappy we can feel when it happens. So, understanding that, and I sort of glossed over it, but hopefully it makes a little sense. It becomes clear that you can become aware of what you've been believing, how you've been responding, and really, we don't want to analyze it and try to fix it and work it out. Then the energy centers get clogged, and of course we're all doing the stuff. A lot of us are doing the stuff that helps that to clear, for sure. So we got to shift the energy, quite right. And we also have to decide who we're going to be. And that's fine. We talk about that a lot. But what do you do when you're living with somebody who is really in your face, unpleasant, dumping shit on you all the time? Because I know there are people who do, right? And for whatever reasons, you either choose to stay or you have to stay or you feel like you haven't got a choice. Right now, there doesn't seem to be an option to change that. And I'm not going to go into all of those reasons. Whatever they are, that's how it is right now. What do you do in that situation? And I thought, well, geez, it's not actually a situation that I've really been in for very long. I have actually, I look back when I was 19, I was in a relationship with somebody who actually was really abusive, but I didn't recognize it as abuse. I thought it was, I didn't enjoy it, but I just did not know what was happening to me. I did not understand that this is not how a relationship should be, So it can be a little bit like that. You're just going through life without knowing that there is a colour blue, and you think that red and orange and green and yellow is all there is. And this is normal, and this is just what you have to deal with. But anyway, fortunately, I didn't marry that young man. It was a good thing. Point being that if you've got somebody who's really in your face difficult, some people, but it tends to take a while, stay in that situation and they recreate themselves. And, one way or another, the person changes or they leave or whatever. But one way or another, even those people who do it, they stay right in the middle of everything and people are yelling and screaming at them and they change and they recreate the whole thing from the inside out, and it's been done and it happens. Somehow or other, that person has found a way to make time and space for themselves so that they can create the person who they want to be. And I realised for me, this was the key thing. Because it doesn't matter what shit you're facing from day to day. You have to create a space where you can focus entirely on yourself without distraction. Because if you can't make time and space, lock yourself in a room, put a bolt on the door, the padlock on it so nobody can get in, whatever, use noise-cancelling headphones to cancel the world out, whatever. If you can't make some time and some space to claim for yourself and say, you shall not pass, this is where I'm going to spend 1 hour a day, or whatever it is, deciding who I'm going to be and practicing who that person is. Well, you can't create new circuits, right? You can't have new experiences. And remember, you can have an experience entirely inside your awareness and your thinking and your feeling. You do not have to go anywhere or do anything physical to have a new experience. You can create that entirely inside yourself. But you can't do that, to start with at least, while people are throwing shit at you. You need to actually lock the world out for a period of time each day. I really can't see practically, because those of you who've been around me for a while know I'm a very, very practical person. I can't see practically how else you'd make it happen. I am not interested in saying, send love and think love and sparkles and, do all this energetic, lovely work if I can't find a way to actually implement something in my life that is practically going to mean that whatever I'm doing and when I'm out there having a great time becomes sustainable. It's just the same reason why I don't want people coming to me for readings and I don't want to do therapy, although none of that is wrong. It's just not what I want to do. Let me be very clear about that. If you do that, it's great. It's awesome. If it gives you joy, if it fills you up, if it satisfies you to do that, keep doing it. Not saying don't do it. For me, the only thing that fills me up and satisfies me is to empower people to do their own readings and to empower people to work it out for themselves. But you notice, I still will show up with people and coach one-on-one or in my group, the Heartfield. Faye, lovely to see you! Because that's what works for me, because those are spaces where people get to work it out for themselves. And I'm very good at helping them do that. So, and you see, it's a space. You've got to actually make some space for yourself. And sometimes I think to myself, is this too basic? But I think if you are really used to always accommodating other people and always measuring your actions and what you're going to say and what you're going to do by what you think that other person is going to do in response, or how they're going to react, or what they're going to say, or how they're going to make you feel, then the idea of, oh shit, I actually have to carve out a space for myself where I don't have to deal with that before I can change anything else, might actually not be obvious. Because you're so used to it all being about everybody else. And I remember this. Because I used to be like this. I had a therapist back when I was 21 and married to a man who wasn't right for me. I didn't manage to marry the first one, which was a good thing. Instead, I married somebody who was kind and considerate and completely emotionally not available. And I was with him for 7 years, and then that ended very amicably, and then my soulmate showed up. Long story short. But when I had married my first husband, and honestly, I didn't know what abuse was. I didn't know what a relationship should be. I had no clue. I didn't know how to be human, remember? Not really. And I was unhappy. So I went to, work with this lovely lady. My sister, bless her, paid for me to see this lady because I was a student, had no money. And this therapist was not cheap, but she was good. She was really good. And the first time she asked me a question about what I wanted for myself, I answered it 3 or 4 times about what other people would think or who I had to look after or whatever before she said, no, what do you want? I don't know what her words were, but she kept pushing me back or driving me back or turning me back to say, well, what is it that you want for you? And I remember the kind of confusion in the inside my head. Of course, I was making new synaptic connections, right? And I didn't realise, but I remember this sort of, what? Because I'd never answered a question, whatever it was, in terms of what do I want for myself before. It was just a complete unknown to me. So, that was the first time I really had thought about it. And so if you're used to doing your life as a dance around all the circumstances and people and situations that you have to manage in order for them to dump the minimum amount of crap on you, because that's really, essentially that's what I was doing without realising it. You need to know you've got to make a space for yourself so that you can start to just think, oh my God, for the next 20 minutes or the next hour, I don't have to think about what that nasty person's going to say. I don't have, you just have to get a space for yourself. Because until you can start to decide who you want to be and then work out how that's going to work, you got to make space. So you made space inside your head. Yeah, right. And you see, even in a workplace, this is a perfect example, Linda, thank you. Because, sometimes, like when you're in the family home, for example, there's usually somewhere that you can lock yourself away. You probably can't sit in the toilet for an hour. Maybe you can, depending on the time of day. But, there's usually somewhere that you can make a space. In the workplace, you're quite right, it's different because you have to be in proximity to certain people, and there are certain people who are going to come and see you if they're the boss or whatever. But the workplace is a little bit predictable in that you know where people are going to be. There are routines, there are patterns. And so there are probably certain times in the day, for example, when you think, right, this is the time when I'm most likely to be left alone. I'm going to do some creation now. Maria, good morning. So we have to be creative, just like you were, Linda, because you totally did. We have to, and it doesn't matter. I mean, for me, it's an hour. I got to have an hour. Tanya, lovely to see you. Longer if possible. But, it's not possible most days, but I have an hour, and I'm ironclad about it. Because then I get to create myself and I get to choose, I get to, learn how to look after myself, and I get to work out what that means. Because if you have been a caregiver or a dancing around other people or a walking on eggshells kind of person your entire life, you really don't know how to be somebody who is courageous or strong or centered or confident. Or you really have no idea. And then you beat yourself up because you don't know how to be confident without realising that actually if you've been practising being fearful for 30 years, you might need at least to take a few weeks or a month or two to work out what it might be like if you're confident. See, you've actually got to work it out. We don't know these things automatically. The neural net around being scared is really well established in your brain. April, morning! But the neural net for being confident, no connections, no software, no hardware, nothing there. You've got to work at it. And to do that, you've got to make space to do that creation. That's really the heart of what I wanted to say today. And it seems so simple, but it can be a real logistical challenge. And you might say, okay, Maddie, well, yeah, okay, I need to make some space. And then you look at your life and you look at your day and you look at the demands and you think, well, how in hell am I going to do this? Start being curious. Get curious, observe, notice when there are little lulls in your day. Pay attention. Pay attention. You will notice and opportunities. If you just start saying to yourself, I'm looking for this opportunity and this opportunity is coming to me and I don't know how it looks because I never thought about it before. It's okay that I can't figure it out. It's okay that I don't know. This is something new. But I'm just going to say that it's possible for me to make some time for myself every day to create who I want to be. Okay, now if that was possible, how would it look? What would I do? And you start asking those what, how, who, when questions. And then you get your frontal lobe engaged And it's like, oh, maybe I could try this, maybe I could try that. And you start trying this and you start trying that, and some things work and some things don't, but you're moving now. Instead of just sitting in paralysis and saying, well, I feel scared. I don't know what confidence is like. So that it's a really logistical, hard text thing. All of the fluffy feelings in the world and positive memes will not substitute for the fact that you've got to create yourself as someone else. And you can do it. You will find a way as soon as you decide that it's possible. Even though you can't see it, you don't know how. That's how it works. That's how it works. Hello, it's lovely to see you. Good morning. I am just about to finish. I'm going to say something before I run out of time, make us late, because we're already late. Hey! Just to say that I crossed a milestone. 2,121 friends was 1,000. Oh God, 2121 was the point at which I said, okay, I'm going to start raving and saying that when I get to 2,222 friends, this Maddie Schaefer profile that you've connected with is going to become a page. Because like I said yesterday, friends, you can have up to 5,000. Susanna, good morning. I'm really late today. Hello. And my mission, my passion, my desire involves a lot more than that. So I got to make the change and I got to do it sometime. So I'm just saying it's coming, okay? Nothing should change, but it's happening. So I'm just letting you know to look out for it. Don't freak out and suddenly think, where's Maddie gone? Maddie is, I will still have a Maddie Schaefer profile, but, it'll be almost nothing. Everything's going to happen on the page. So, to sum up, going back to the important thing, because I like to finish with what's important. That's important, but in a different way. We have to create ourselves anew. Wherever you are and wherever you want to be, you got to get clear about who that is. And to do that, and to start practicing that person and becoming that person, you have to make a space somewhere in your mind while you're washing the dishes. If people leave you alone when you're washing the dishes, because it means if they leave you alone, then they don't have to dry them. And the drying time becomes more time for you to think and create and start to feel like a confident person while you're drying the dishes. See? It can be that simple. If you can lock yourself in a room for 20 minutes to a half an hour to an hour a day and create yourself, then do. But find a way. Because as you use what's in front of you, as you do the best you can with what you have, more opportunities are going to open up and you won't know where they'll come from. They're coming from somewhere new. You're creating something new. Don't expect something new to come out of everything that's from the past. It's new, it's unknown. You don't know how it's going to manifest. But get determined to make a space for yourself. Because that is absolutely the first step. It's Friday. I can't believe it's Friday. The week has absolutely flown. That's becoming normal for me now. But I live in no time. And I accomplish everything. So, yeah, time just vanishes. Christina, I've just got time to say hello to you and then wish you much love as to say goodbye. Look out for the resident replays. Deborah, it's gorgeous to see you. Enjoy the replay. Look out for the replays over the weekend and I will see you with bells on Monday. Much love. Bye-bye.